Friends, it's Heather Lytle, Lytle Communications. I'm working from home. So February is time management month, and we are talking about policies to help you manage your time. And today's topic, working from home. So I got my PJs on, got my blanket, got my little friend, and let's talk about working from home. So when you have employees that are working from home, which in the last 2 years has become so much more common than anybody would have thought, right? People demanded that it's something that it's a perk that most people are expecting, right? So how do you manage that? Working from home is it has a different sort of set of challenges, okay? So while it can be so convenient and so time saving for both employees and employers, there's a few things that you need to think about. So one is setting clear boundaries on what is acceptable to work from home and when it is not acceptable to work from home. Now, if you have people that are just doing telework the whole time, that's great. But you need to make sure a couple different things. One, you want to make sure that they're productive. It's not something that can, sometimes people get distracted because it's home, it's laundry, blah, 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 the kids, the dog, the snake, the gerbil, whatever. You want to make sure that they're being productive. So if that's the case, you want to make sure that you're really communicating what the expectations are. When do they need to be online? They absolutely have to be online for that touch point, okay? Making sure that you're having regular touch points with them. If you're going to have a little bit more flexible schedule, as long as they get the work done, you still just want to make sure you have that base point to touch base, okay? Now, sometimes working from home causes the opposite problem. You have employees that work all the time. And I can tell you, in the first 6 months of the pandemic, the burnout rates increased by, I think, like 66%, because the work is always there, right? The work is always there. You're working from home, you're home, check an email, do this real quick thing. The work is always there. And so the flip side to that is the work is always there and your employees get burnout because they're always working. So you also need to set some boundaries with making sure that people take their time off. And when they take their time off, they're actually off. I cannot stress that enough. They need to actually be off. Okay. Also allowing them some flexibility to, take those appointments that they need to take vacation time, and really make sure that you're monitoring that people are not working when they're not supposed to be. Okay. So some of the other things that you're thinking about when you're talking about work from home is security. Okay. So you're working from home, the laptop's open, cousin Eddie comes over. How do you handle making sure that you're training your employees to walk away and lock their screen? So if you're going to walk the walk, you need to lock the lock, right? They need to lock their screens. They need to make sure that they're treating the information that's provided to them securely. Okay. So you want to make sure that you're doing that. Also, make sure that your employees feel connected. That's another thing that's really happens a lot during the pandemic. So we have the work from home pajama dress code, and that is fabulous, right? But sometimes when you're working from home and you're in your pajamas and you're all alone, you miss coworkers, right? You miss those impromptu conversations. You miss popping up over the side of the cubicle and just chewing the fat. So how do you make sure that your employees stay connected? It's important. It's important to make sure that you're touching base with employees, having team meetings where it's not just about the work. Ask about somebody's latest Netflix binge. Ask about a recipe that they've tried or a restaurant that they've been to. All of these things, they really break down that corporate side and really start making the human side come out, okay? Now, for work from home, let's talk about managing. As I talked about before, we have people that we want to make sure that they stay productive, and then we have the people that work all the time, and we have to make sure that we manage that. But also, as a manager, you need to understand the challenges that somebody is working with. And again, we're going to go back to the pandemic. When Kids were at school, everybody's stressed out. People are still stressed out. Really. I just had this conversation in my house about people being stressed out. So when they are stressed out and they have all these additional stressors, it shows up. We're all human. It shows up in different places, in different ways, and it can show up at work. So you need to make sure that you're connecting with your employees, okay? And that you're giving them some grace. And on that, along with giving them some grace, make sure that you have really clear expectations of what needs to be done and when, and how to reach out and give assistance and support in the job. And sometimes that looks like a daily stand-up meeting in the morning to kind of go through whatever everybody has going on. But sometimes it's a checkout meeting at the end of the day. So you need to think about, how are you making sure that you're staying in front of your people and your staff and feeling connected to them, and also understand what they're working on and the challenges they might be having at work and at home. So this is Heather Lytle Communications. We are working from home. So enjoy Time Management Month, and we will catch up again soon with more videos and more tips and more entertainment. Have a good one.